Fatal Fury City of the Wolves makes Mortal Kombat 1 look utterly pathetic. After 26 years in slumber, Fatal Fury comes back doing everything better than Mortal Kombat, a series that just won't die, no matter how hard at points we just wish it would. City of the Wolves is fast, gorgeous, and surprisingly respectful to its legacy. IGN even called it a triumphant revival, and for once, they're right. The game doesn't just look the part, it plays like it never left. It feels great to play and is stunning to look at in every sense of the word. Maintaining much of its historical identity, it will please longtime fans with added modern polish that is sure to attract new players too. Meanwhile, the incredibly high-budget American-produced Mortal Kombat 1 has not only gone down in history as monetarily one of the most predatory fighters ever released, but the ugly character designs included made the title controversial for all the wrong reasons. So, taking the existence of both of these franchises into account, how did a supposedly dead Japanese fighting game manage to waltz back in and humiliate the West's biggest fighting game series of all time? And more importantly, why does it matter? Let's talk about it. I am Lady Decade. Hit that subscribe button as it's time to talk about Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, the exciting release that Mortal Kombat 1 should have been. 2025. What a bizarre year for gaming it's been, but after a slow start, a semblance of quality is beginning to trickle through. We've had some unconventional greats, such as the ridiculous Pirate Yakuza, the expansive Monster Hunter Wilds, and, in my opinion, the breakout future classic of the period, the amazing Clair Obscur Expedition 33. If I were a terrible game journalist, I could claim that 2025 has been a return to form, with Fatal Fury City of the Wolves functioning as the latest quality offering to add to this list of must-play titles. What's even cooler is that you might be shocked at how affordable these titles actually are. Get 40% off Expedition 33 and 33% off City of the Wolves simply by using my discount links via the pinned comment. In fact, you can get up to 90% off thousands of modern, AAA, classics, retro and indie titles, all by clicking down below. Be bougie on a budget and support the channel while you're at it. Happy shopping, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. The last time we saw a proper Fatal Fury game, it was a very different time. The world still ran on dial-up and people thought the Dreamcast was going to save Sega, and a title saw release that a lot of people still fondly remember. That game was Garou: Mark of the Wolves, released in 1999, and to the fighting game community it's less a sequel and more a sacred text. It was SNK's answer to Street Fighter 3, a slick, mechanically dense fighter that pushed their Neo Geo hardware to its absolute limits. This was a true fighting gamer's fighter. While Mortal Kombat was busy throwing buckets of blood at the screen and giving teenage boys something to snigger about, Garou was elegant, refined, a game that prioritised timing, footsies and raw mechanical satisfaction, and then nothing. For over 2 decades, no sequels, no soft reboots, just the occasional re-release for emulation enthusiasts and old-school fighting game purists. But somehow City of the Wolves picks up exactly where Garou left off. And rather than chasing trends, it builds upon what made the original great. It's a kind of revival that feels earned, not just slapped together to tick a box and fill a fiscal quarter. From the moment you press start, City of the Wolves makes it obvious that SNK actually likes fighting games and, more importantly, the people who play them. The controls are tight, the visuals are glorious, and the fights are about spacing, timing and pressure rather than memorising some 32-hit combo flowcharts. And the new rep system adds a layer of risk-reward tension, letting you string together enhanced specials, cancels and powerful finishes, but overuse it and you'll overheat, leaving yourself wide open. It's the kind of mechanic that encourages creativity, not just repetition. No brain-dead auto combos here. If you're mashing, you're losing. And with mechanics like just defense rewarding precise timing, this is a game that wants you switched on, not just along for the ride. And in a shocking twist for a modern release, SNK actually bothered to make the thing fun before worrying about the shopfront. I know, right? A fighting game that prioritises gameplay over microtransactions. What year is this? 2002? Colour customization is free, the base roster is generous, Season 1 DLC was included in the special edition, and unlike Mortal Kombat 1, you're not being charged £4.99 just to unlock a blue version of someone's trousers. City of the Wolves gives you a full colour edit mode out of the box, something that would have been a reward in 2004, but now feels like a miracle. It's personalisation without the price tag. No fake currencies, no rotating store tab, just pick your colours and get on with your life. But most of all, this game just feels good to play. It's not chasing cinematic fluff or trying to impress some exec who's never held a fight stick. It's a proper, honest-to-God fighting game. And if you do want something to chew on solo, there's episodes of Southtown, a surprisingly solid single-player mode with light RPG elements that adds flavour without pretending it's a Netflix series. It's not trying to win awards for storytelling, it's just there to give you more game for your money. And that alone puts it miles ahead of Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1 instead gives you Invasion Mode, a bloated, grind-heavy chore that feels like it was cooked up by a live service committee rather than anyone who understands fun. In contrast, episodes of Southtown in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves actually respects your time. You boot it up, you fight, and you have a good time. No battle passes, no rotating item shops, no pressure to log in daily, just pure gameplay exactly as it should be. Now contrast that with Mortal Kombat 1, a game that feels less like a love letter to the series and more like a quarterly shareholder reporting cosplay. On paper, the reboot had potential, a new timeline, new mechanics, and a chance to strip things back to what made Mortal Kombat exciting in the first place, but instead, we got something very disappointing. Mortal Kombat 1 launched at a whopping 70 quid, immediately tanked in price once everyone realised what it was, and then still had the audacity to charge extra for seasonal fatalities. Imagine buying a fighting game at full price and then being asked to pay $10 to watch your character chuck a pumpkin. That's not gaming, that's a haunted Etsy shop. Mechanically, it's not awful, but that's the problem. It's not anything. The new cameo fighter system was a gimmick rather than a meaningful evolution. It's flash without function, the kind of thing that demos well on a showroom floor but doesn't hold up in competitive play. The franchise has lost its edge and identity. Now it's all Hollywood-style flair with the depth of a puddle. To put it simply, Mortal Kombat just doesn't feel rebellious anymore. It feels like it's been run through a focus group and neutered for market share. Which is a shame because MK1 does have its moments. It can be amusing at points, but polish can't cover up creative bankruptcy. This is a series that has built its name on blood, boobs, and being a bit naughty, and now it's cosplaying as prestige TV, and nowhere is that more obvious than in the character designs, because while SNK turned up to 2025 looking like it had never left the arcade, confident, colourful, and a little bit horny, Mortal Kombat turned up dressed up for a performance review. Mai Shiranui has been jiggling her way across the screen since 1992. She's pure fighting game cheesecake. And she owns it. She's so iconic that, at this point, Mai is to boobs what Chun-Li is to legs. It's not just about realism, it's about style, identity, and a bit of daft spectacle in a genre that thrives on larger-than-life expression. Both franchises used to revel in this kind of over-the-top flair, absurd outfits and exaggerated physiques, and larger-than-life characters that knew exactly what they were. But somewhere along the line, Mortal Kombat got embarrassed by its own legacy. The wild, provocative designs of characters like Mileena, Katana and Jade have been scrubbed down and sanitized, replaced with generic armoured realism that would look out of place in a Marvel movie. The game that once gleefully threw buckets of blood and bare skin at the screen now tiptoes around its own identity, desperate to appear respectable. Meanwhile, Fatal Fury never flinched. Mai's still out here bouncing into battle like it's 1992, unashamed and unforgettable. A reminder that fighting games should be bold, not beige. It's like NetherRealm has spent the post-2020 Me Too era nervously watching its back, terrified of offending anyone, dressing its women like they're attending a workplace harassment seminar, instead of entering a crude, hilariously unrealistic, over-the-top, blood-soaked tournament. And the result is a franchise that used to be punk rock and now feels like it's been neutered to not offend any shareholders. What a complete joke. The result is a game that looks polished but feels hollow, cleansed of the fun, the flirtation and the flair that once set it apart. And for what? Blue sky applause and a potential Netflix deal. The fact of the matter is that the American Mortal Kombat cast used to pose for Playboy. Now they dress like they're about to give a TED talk on workplace boundaries, and in the most absurd twist imaginable, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, the game that still lets its characters show a bit of cleavage, is the one funded by Saudi Arabia. Only in 2025 could a studio based in Riyadh be outdoing California on artistic freedom. It's like the West got so paralysed by post-2020 HR panic that it forgot how to have fun or style. Think about it, Saudi Arabia, a country long known for moral conservatism and modesty laws, is now backing the game that actually lets its characters look sexy. While in California, the birthplace of free love and flower power and bikini-clad roller skaters, is too scared to show a bit of shoulder in case someone writes a think piece. Something has gone very wrong in the United States. On the subject of characters and character design, as sublime as City of the Wolves is, I do have to address the elephant in the room. The game's inclusion of real-lifers amongst the roster. Don't get me wrong, guest characters can absolutely broaden a game's appeal when done well. It's worked countless times before, but in City of the Wolves, the inclusion of Cristiano Ronaldo and Salvatore Ganacci feels less like fan service and more like a marketing stunt greenlit by someone chasing headlines. These baffling cameos don't feel playful, they feel like favours handed down by Saudi investors looking to shove their pop culture Rolodex into the roster. And yes, it's weird. Yes, it reeks of brand synergy nonsense, but here's the key difference. At least they're free. No £20 character packs, no celebrity bundles with exclusive emotes and paywalled voice lines, just strange extras that you can safely ignore if you want to, because the actual fighting game is still there, fully intact. The core cast remains bold, stylish and unmistakably designed to throw hands, not deliver keynote speeches. In contrast, Mortal Kombat has turned guest characters into a full-blown revenue stream. What started as fun novelty appearances, Freddy Krueger, Spawn, Terminator, has morphed into a cynical pipeline of headline-chasing DLC packs. Every guest is a premium purchase, bundled with overpriced skins and locked behind combat packs that cost more than some full games. We're at the point now that Mortal Kombat has drifted so far from its original identity that these days some people jokingly refer to it as Smash Brothers, but for dads. When all is said and done though, at their core, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves and Mortal Kombat 1 don't just look different, they represent clashing ideologies. SNK clearly approached City of the Wolves with a simple question: what would make this fun? The mechanics are rich, the visuals are bold, the price is reasonable, and yes, there is fan service, but it's sincere, not sleazy. It's confident and not cowardly. You can tell it was made by people who actually like video games. It feels like the game was made by people who actually understand and respect their audience. But Mortal Kombat 1, by contrast, feels like it was assembled in a risk-adverse product meeting, with every design choice reeking of market research, and the shop is predatory. The personality, once a franchise's strongest asset, has been sucked dry by executives desperate not to go viral for the wrong reasons. Basically, one of these games is a labour of love, and the other is a live service hostage situation with a fatality budget. No wonder so many American AAA games are failing. I think that most of us can unequivocally agree that the best games right now are coming from Japan, China and South Korea, and in some cases, from European mid-sized studios that haven't been swallowed whole by American investment capital. For example, look at Baldur's Gate 3 or Expedition 33, games that have been made by actual developers and not dictated by committees. From SNK to Sandville Interactive, 2025's most exciting releases aren't coming from studios with US shareholders breathing down their necks, whispering about brand image, ESG metrics, and ideological alignment. Let's be clear, this isn't East versus West. There are brilliant Western developers out there, but some of the industry's biggest names, so studios that once had real soul like CD Projekt Red or Ubisoft, have spent the past few years trading creativity for compliance, risk for repetition, and identity for algorithms. They don't make games anymore. They commission content strategies, and what we get in return is a conveyor belt of bloated, lifeless, risk-averse products that feel like they were spat out by a consultancy firm rather than crafted by people who actually care. They're not building games for players anymore. They're building pipelines, endless layers of storefronts, fake currencies, FOMO-fueled cosmetics, and tiered battle passes dressed up as progression systems. All of it is buried under cinematic fluff and sanitised by HR to ensure no one's healings or marketing budgets get bruised. It's not game design anymore, it's damage control with a menu screen. So this comparison I've made today isn't just about Fatal Fury and Mortal Kombat, it's about how we've spent the last 10 years being drip-fed content instead of being given games. You know, the ones where they excessively use the phrase games as a service, where the only ones being served are the investors. So when something like City of the Wolves turns up, polished, complete and clearly made with love, it doesn't just feel good, it feels like a small act of rebellion, a reminder that games used to be fun first, not a sales funnel wrapped in cutscenes. In a world full of pipelines, SNK remembered the joy of throwing a punch. City of the Wolves, for now at least, feels like a fighting game with teeth. No gacha menus, no loot box addiction, just clean mechanics, striking presentation, and actual game design. And it doesn't hold your hand, it doesn't give you a trophy for breathing, you either learn it or lose it. And that's exactly how it should be. And the community did notice this. The second that gameplay footage hit the internet, you could feel it. Not hype, not nostalgia, but relief. Real fighting game players, the lifers, lit up. Not because it reminded them of the past, but because it felt like a future worth getting excited about. If City of the Wolves then sparks a trend, we might finally escape the age of cinematic bloat, recycled animations, and in-game shops disguised as progression. We might finally get back to what this genre does best: brutal matchups, sharp inputs, and big personalities smacking each other across the screen in glorious fashion, with maybe even some unapologetic jiggle physics interlaced between it all. Fatal Fury has been received mostly positively because it actually delivers. Compare that to Mortal Kombat 1's launch, where the buzz wasn't about the fighting, it was about broken mechanics, recycled animations, and the creeping realisation that every costume, fatality, and victory pose was going to cost extra. A game with a premium price tag and a vending machine for a menu, so you can look back and see why people were annoyed. It's that simple. Meanwhile, Mortal Kombat 1 had the budget, the brand, the legacy, the platform, and still managed to trip over its own overpriced shoelaces. One game remembered how to fight, whilst the other one forgot to pick up the gloves in the first place. That's why in 2025 Fatal Fury is the real comeback story and Mortal Kombat is the cautionary tale. And if you actually want to play these kinds of games that respect you, don't forget you can grab Fatal Fury City of the Wolves using my link for 33% cheaper than elsewhere. Or if you want to play Expedition 33, a turn-based RPG I had similar praise for, I can get you that with 40% off too. City of the Wolves is great. No overpriced fatalities, just a proper fighting game from a company that actually seems to like its audience. So please give it a go. Or if you want to support my work on a more personal level, you can access my behind-the-scenes cosplay library by heading over to my Patreon. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.